Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. And welcome, everyone, to the swearing-in ceremony of Dan Aymar Blair, your Dutchess County Comptroller. Yahoo! My name is Robin Lois, and I am the former Dutchess County Comptroller. And as of this very same day, 1 year ago, I started as Deputy Comptroller of New York State, Deputy Comptroller of Local Government and School Accountability. So, believe it or not, that does fit on a business card. But Comptroller, we need to talk about that. It's a long title. Besides Dan himself and Shoshana, his campaign manager, I do believe that I am the third happiest person in this room to be celebrating Dan's inauguration. I did purposely leave out Monica because if you're anything like my husband, you had some reservations and skepticism, but it's going to be okay, I promise. It's going to be fine. So I am very happy and pleased to be your MC for today. It's very, very warm and dear to my heart to be welcoming Dan as Comptroller. But before we get started, just some housekeeping. Make sure you know where your nearest exits are in case of an emergency. And also, please silence your phones. You do not want to be that person. We also have a number of elected officials here today and that I would like to name off. If you could please stand when I say your name, and if you want to hold the applause, that might make it faster, but if you really love them, I'll let you applause. Representing Pat Ryan, Destiny Hollenbeck. My boss, New York State Comptroller Tom DiNapoli. New York State Senator Michelle Hinchy. New York State Senator Rob Rollison. There she is. New York State Assemblywoman Dee Dee Barrett. Hi, Dee Dee. New York State Assemblyperson Jonathan Jacobson. New York State Assembly Anil Bipan. AJ. Dutchess County Executive Sue Serino. Dutchess County DA Anthony Parisi. Dutchess County Sheriff Kirk Imparati. Dutchess County Clerk Brad Kendall. There he is. My sister Comptroller, Ulster County Comptroller March Gallagher. Chairman of the Dutchess County Legislature, Will Truitt. Minority Leader Yvette Valdez-Smith, my friend. Assistant Minority Leader, Dutchess County Legislature, Barrington Atkins. Dutchess County Legislator Elisa Cole. Dutchess County Legislator Chris Drago. Dutchess County Legislator Chris Munn. Dutchess County Legislator Brendan Lawler. We have many other city councils, mayors, supervisors. Can you all please stand and recognize our elected officials, Dutchess County? At this time, I'd like to ask Sheriff Imparati to present the colors. Following the presentations will be the Pledge of Allegiance by Sarah Grace and the National Anthem by Anna Corey Watson. Color guard, present the colors. Please rise.
Telegraph. All. Their face. Breathe their heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
color guard. Retire the colors. Order. All. Right face. Forward march.
Next, we will have the invocation by Reverend Cameron Hardy from the Episcopal Church of the Regeneration, Pine Plains, and chaplain of Millbrook School. Reverend?
It's an honor and a privilege to be invited to bless this ceremony to induct Dan Aymar Blair as our next Dutchess County Comptroller. The work for justice, freedom, and peace operates on the ground level here in our local communities. So you all are a beacon, no pun intended, of light for us. And for this we thank you. Let us pray. Eternal and wise one, be praised for our life, health, and joy. We invite your presence with us as we laud, honor, and give thanks. As we begin this new year in hope and expectation, guard with your hand and spirit all those who hold governing offices, especially those present and who we honor today. Dan, our incoming Dutchess County Comptroller, and Robin, who has served with distinction at this post, and all other elected officials so named. Bless them and their families, and keep them in your path, illumined by integrity and balance. Strengthen them, sending down upon them the spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice to affect our world from greed to service, disdain to understanding, division to community. Strengthen us as a people called to uphold the highest values of our nation and our own communities, the values of honesty, integrity, prudence, compassion, and service. Be present now as with steadfast purpose, Dan and all who serve the common good may faithfully serve in their offices to promote the dignity and well-being of all people. May your great heart find delight, and may it be to your praise and honor. Amen. Please be seated.
Thank you, Reverend. Very nice. So before we start with our first speaker, I would like to take this moment to do my own congratulations and thank you to Dan. Everyone who knows me, anyone who's close to me knows that when I made this decision to leave the Comptroller, it was a very difficult one for me. But two things needed to happen in order for me to make the move. One, I needed to know that the office was going to be okay without me for this, what we'll call a transitional year. And the second was that we had a person and a candidate that was going to be a great controller. And we found that person in Dan. The very first time Dan called me to tell me he was running, he asked all the right questions. He had the right perspective. He had the drive. He had the determination. And he definitely has the skills. And I hung up the phone saying, we found our controller. And he has worked really hard over this last year to meet all of you and to prove to you and to explain to you why he is the right person for the job. I'm really proud of what you did for that. It's a lot of sacrifice. It's a sacrifice for your family. And thank you guys for sharing your dad with us. Monica, thank you for sharing your husband with us. It's the sacrifice we need to make in order to get to the positions that we're going to do the most good. And the Comptroller is the watchdog, and it is a very important role that I took very seriously, and I know that Dan is going to take very seriously. The integrity, the skill set, the ability to really see the perspective of what's important and look out for the taxpayers, and that's what the job of the Comptroller is. And I have every confidence that Dan is going to do that. So I'm thrilled that you're finishing out my term. And I know that you will be following with another consecutive 4 years after that, and you're going to do a fantastic job. So thank you again for doing that, and please join me in thanking Dan and congratulating him again. Now, our first speaker is an extraordinary public servant. She is the supervisor of the town of Poughkeepsie, a former Dutchess County legislator and minority leader while I was controller, and my friend, Supervisor Rebecca Edwards. Please.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year, everyone, and congratulations, Dan. The only reason I feel really qualified to speak today is that a year ago I spent my first month as town supervisor of the town of Poughkeepsie without a controller. And so I can speak with great conviction to the importance of having a controller. I've been delighted to hire a terrific new controller, Minal Patel, and she and I have learned together this year. One of the things I like to say is that legislators and executives are trying to drive the car, but it's the controller who's under the hood. And who knows what's happening and can help guide you as to the specifics of spending and make sure to be careful. Dan is the perfect person for this job. Experienced, qualified, serious, and careful, and dedicated. And I know he's going to do a tremendous job. And I saw his last Facebook post on his last day of doing this kind of work, watching after the taxpayer dollars in the New York City school system. And it's a big transition, but I hope a shorter commute. So that's a good thing for you. And we're so delighted to have you here. I believe that people in our community and in the nation are hungering for information, for clear information that's not partisan, that's not biased, that's not yelling, but that is accurate and that helps people understand how their government works. And I believe they want efficient and effective government. And now, of all times, we need to be providing that at the local level. It's very, very important. And I believe Dan's going to play a really important role in doing that over the next few years, and I can't wait to work with him. Congratulations, and thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Rebecca. Our next speaker is the mayor of the city of Poughkeepsie, former council member of the city of Poughkeepsie, who has really made her mark as a leader in her first year in office. She's a public servant who works with and listens to everyone needed to get the job done. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Yvonne Flowers.
Thank you. I don't know if you look behind you, but you have a lot of people here. It shows a lot of love for you, Dan. You know, and I say congratulations on your victory. You worked very hard for this. You did not take this lightly. I've seen you out there campaigning. I've seen you at every event. People look at me and say, you're everywhere. No, you were everywhere. And I really thought at one point in time you had a twin. Because you were engaging in conversations with individuals. You weren't just knocking on doors and just giving information. You were really listening to individuals. And there was a point of time where you went to a Winnicky block party. And as you were walking up and you had a suit, and so you did stick out. And I did not know if this was going to go well for you. Because I did hear a few people saying, okay, here's another politician wanting our votes. And there were others that were there as well. And then about 30 minutes or so afterwards, I looked around, I didn't see you. And I said, okay, Dan left. I guess this was a tough crowd. But then when I looked over on the other side of the parking lot, I saw you sitting there with a gentleman that at first it looked like he was giving you a hard time and giving you an earful. But then I said, okay, let me start walking over towards you so I can kind of like help you out a little bit. But as I got closer, you started laughing and you were engaged in this conversation. And I realized at that point, you were really there for the people and really to listen to what people had to say and really listen to their concerns. So that way you know how you can do your job effectively. And I really do appreciate it because it was very genuine. And I've noticed that in many other areas when I've seen you at some of these events. So I do thank you for that. You know, as far as the city of Poughkeepsie, the county social services are housed in the city of Poughkeepsie. And we have a lot of people who are struggling, that are dealing with food insecurity, with housing, and they're dealing with mental health needs, and even with health care. And so the thing is, you need a person who is going to be in that position, who's definitely going to understand the needs of the individuals, and to make sure that the money is being spent properly. And so the thing is that based on conversations I had with you, based on the fact that there was a majority of the voters who voted for you because they have faith in you. They know that you are going to keep in mind that when it's time to make those financial decisions, you're going to do it with transparency and you're going to deal with compassion and with that thought of all the things that you've learned during this campaign. You worked hard, and I know in this position you're going to work even harder. And I am very confident of the work that you're going to be putting into this because you know that transparency and accountability is good government. And I see that you are definitely going to be doing that. And I'm looking forward to working with you because of the fact you're going to be right down the road from me. So, and so I know I'll see a lot more of you out. And I know it's not going to just stop while you're here. You'll still attend events and still, continue to take the input from the residents of Dutchess County and of our city of Poughkeepsie. So I congratulate you. I wish you well. I know you're going to do well. From what I'm already hearing, you already, step right in there and start taking charge. So I'm very happy for you. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor. Local government and state government are interconnected partners, each playing critical roles in addressing the needs of New Yorkers. In Dutchess County, we are fortunate to have strong leaders in state government. Our next speaker is just that, New York State Senator for District 41, representing 4 counties, including Northern Dutchess, who has been a strong voice for her constituents in Albany and who has really made her mark in our communities, Senator Michelle Henchy.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. This is a good day in Dutchess County. I am so excited to be here today with all of you on behalf of someone who I think has inspired all of us. But I want to take one moment and say a big thank you to so many people in this room, because government and running for office and politics is a team sport. Right? It takes knocking on doors and talking to people and having a champion that you can believe in, but believing in them so much that you yourself feel like you want to go out and be a part of what makes our government and our society and our communities work. Because government only works when we are all engaged, when we are all fighting for what we believe in. And so I want to thank you to everyone in this room who was out there fighting on all sides, regardless of who, but especially for our man of the hour, our Dutchess County Comptroller. The Comptroller, as everybody knows, is a county-wide role that is often under the radar outside of our statewide Comptroller, who is the most liked elected official in the state of New York, giving controllers a good name. Broadly, controllers are the officials who are under the radar, right? They're the ones doing the work at the desk. They're the ones who are often making difficult calls, both privately and publicly. They're ones who are making sure that the rest of us are operating on behalf of our constituents and that the residents of our communities are getting what they deserve. And in order to have a controller who really works for the community, you need a controller with tenacity. And that is someone who Dan Aymar Blair is. In order to have a controller that really works for our community, you need a controller with courage to stand up to both sides of the aisle, to anyone in office, and communicate truly what's going on behalf of the residents of Dutchess County. And someone with deep courage is Dan Aymar Blair. In order to have a controller who really works for our community, you need a controller who's going to know and lead with heart and with love and with the conviction to know what is best for our community, and that no matter what anyone is saying, what is here is what's going to drive them forward to make sure that people get what they deserve. And someone who leads with heart is Dan Aymar Blair. It has been an incredible time getting to know you and watching you work the county from end to end, corner to corner, the smallest street fairs to the largest events, and showing up. Because this work only can get done when you show up in the community, as our mayor said. When you show up and listen to people, when you understand the challenges that they're facing, and understand also how government works, to lead with intellect, to want to get into the nitty-gritty, to understand what we are providing at the state level and how that should roll out to communities in every county. That's the work that our controller does. And while it is an under-the-radar role, it is one of the most important. And I can't think of anyone more suited right now in this moment when we are all working to build back trust in our government, to build back belief that our government institutions can work and are working on behalf of all of us and our residents and constituents, to make sure that government really is that beacon that we can look to say you are operating correctly, regardless of what's happening across the country and other states, no matter where. At least here in New York and in Dutchess County, we can look to our controller and know that someone is at that helm fighting for the people of Dutchess. And it is truly my honor and my excitement to welcome you into this space as our official Dutchess County Comptroller, and I look so forward to working with you on behalf of the people of Dutchess. Dan, congratulations.
Thank you, Senator. Aren't we lucky to have Senator Hinchy? Yes, Michelle, we love you. So our final speaker who will be administering the oath of office, I happen to be able to talk about with a little bit of authority. I've learned a lot over this past year, going from the oversight of one singular county government to the oversight of 59 counties, every town, every village, every city, every school district, every fire district, every fire company, and every special district within those counties. It's quite daunting, quite daunting. But add on to that, New York City, 15 additional divisions, including retirement, contract oversight, unclaimed funds, and of course your pension. And that's the responsibility of State Comptroller Tom DiNapoli. So don't envy him too much. Tom DiNapoli has been a true friend to Dutchess County. He's given generously of his time to support us for at least a decade, I'm sure more. He has supported many of you in this room, and he has personally supported me, of course, and has been a role model and a mentor to me ever since I met him in 2016, and I am forever grateful. When he administered my oath of office in 2017, it was truly an honor of my lifetime. What I have been able to see firsthand over this past year is one of the hardest working and most genuine people I have ever met. Tom crisscrosses this state multiple times a year, supporting and educating residents and elected officials alike, promoting the importance of transparency and fiscal responsibility of our tax dollars. Everywhere I go, when I'm representing OSC, I'm consistently told, I love your boss. He's such a great guy. He's the best. And all I can do is agree, because yes, he is absolutely that. And it doesn't matter what the political party is, who the person is, what the occasion is. It's always the same. Tom is universally admired and respected for the work that he does and his commitment to the people of New York State, and that is why he is the most beloved. So please help me give a warm Dutchess County welcome to your New York State Comptroller, Thomas P. DiNapoli.
Very sweet. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Hello, Dutchess County. Wow, what a crowd. What a turnout for Dan. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, please. Between what Robin said and what Senator Hinchy said, that you built up the expectations beyond what's real. But wow, it really is great to be here. And what a privilege it is for me to have the special honor to do the swearing in for Dan as your official Dutchess County Comptroller. Did you see how many people are here, by the way? Yeah, he's turning red. He's turning red. It's a great day for Dutchess County. It's certainly a great day for Dan and for Monica and for your boys. It's a great day for all of you who've invested in his career. It's the beginning of a new year, a time of new possibilities. I'm really impressed not only by the number of people who are here, but I appreciate the fact that it's a bipartisan crowd. That says a lot. Give yourselves a round of applause for that. You heard wonderful words from our Supervisor Edwards, our Mayor Flowers, and of course, the extraordinary Senator Hinchy, who I adore. And I'm sitting there saying, wow, Dutchess County's got extraordinary women representing them at different levels of government, I gotta say. Now, as much as Rob and Lois said nice things about me, obviously I feel the same way and double about her. Because I did get the chance to know her and work with her when she served as your county controller. And many of you who follow the workings of our office, you know that her predecessor in that position was Elliot Auerbach, who was the controller in Ulster County. When Elliot decided to retire, I said, you know, I would love to once again have someone running that very important division. Robert reminded you of all the responsibility of local governments and school districts, who understands what local officials are dealing with. Because, you know, that audit responsibility is key. You don't always make a lot of friends when you do that. You got to make sure that it's done professionally and with integrity. And certainly that other component of what that division does, the training, the support, is so very, very key. And I knew how much Robin loved being an elected official, how much she loves Dutchess County. And it was with some trepidation that I approached her. I said, you know, we're going to have an opportunity might you be interested in joining our team? And I know she thought long and hard about it, and I know, as you even said, it wasn't an easy choice because you loved being here with the people of your own community. But over this past year of getting to know her as a colleague within the operation of the Office of State Comptroller, certainly I knew what I was doing when I made the offer. And I think there were times Robin, I think in the beginning, said, what did I get myself into? However, now that she's a veteran, she really is just doing an extraordinary job and having a statewide impact. So thank you, Dutchess County, for letting us steal her away from you for a while, because she's doing a great job for all the people of New York State. Give Robin Lois another round of applause. Now, that being said, after it was announced that Robin was joining my team, my friend Michael Dupree made it very clear to me I was not welcome in Dutchess County anymore. In fact, I was told I could not take the Taconic Parkway to get to Albany anymore. I was not even allowed to drive through Dutchess County. But I just want to make clear that at the time that I invited Robin to join our team, I knew back then that Dan Aymar Blair was going to be the next county controller. So I knew what I was doing. I knew it was going to work out. So am I welcome back in Dutchess County now? It all worked out, right? It all worked out. Others have said, and I just want to reiterate, the controller position is a very important one, and as others have said, and I want to echo it, in this time where people have a lot of frustration about government, are unsure about credibility in government, are looking for integrity and accountability and transparency, all of that is very much tied to what the role of a controller is, whether that's a county controller or state controller. You know, Dutchess is one of a handful of counties in New York State that has an elected controller, and I think that's a great advantage. And certainly here in the Hudson Valley, and a colleague for Dan as she was for Robin, you have another great role model in Marge Gallagher, who does an extraordinary job over in Dutchess County. All of these responsibilities of being the fiscal watchdog, of doing the audit function, of overseeing finances, looking at contracts, looking out for taxpayer dollar, it's so very, very important. And the other word I want to add to all the other descriptions about Dan and what's essential to this role is another key word, and that's independence. You know, people often ask me, you know, to be controller, do you have to be a CPA? In the case of what we do you have to be someone from Wall Street as far as, you know, pension fund investments? Do you need to be an operations person? I said, you know, what I've learned in my years of doing the job, the most essential qualification is being independent. And as I've gotten to know Dan, this is a person who understands who he is, someone who has extraordinary core values, has his own inner compass about what is right and what is wrong, and you can count on Dan always being truthful and honest and being independent. He's going to call the shots as he sees them when he's working on an audit, when he's looking at a contract, when he's commenting on county finances. His word is going to be an honest word, and it's going to be with the people's interest in mind. That's what his tenure has been like in Beacon on the city council, where he has a great reputation for serving his constituents, working on some key issues about infrastructure, about environment, and so on. And as others have said, his professional experience, I mean, this guy's got better qualifications than I had when I started in terms of the work he's done there in New York City with the Department of Education, and he understands about contracts, operations, budgets, civil service requirements. You go down the long list of responsibilities, and this is a seamless transition, as you already know, that Dan is able to undertake. And I think that this is such an important qualification, to have someone who, independent, experienced, and just wants to do the job in the right way. And I think that's what people really are looking for more and more today. So this is a beginning, as I said. It's a time to celebrate. In some ways, this is the easy part. right? The real work, starts now, but I know you're going to have a great team to work with. You obviously have a lot of support out there. And as I said, I do appreciate the fact that so many elected officials are here, folks from both sides of the aisle. That will underscore what Dan's tenure will be all about. Working in a collaborative fashion, working with honesty, integrity, and credibility, having an independent voice. So when those rough spots happen, as they sometimes do in government, just carry with you, Dan, this day, with the great support that's there for you, the belief in you, and even the bad days will be good. I can guarantee that. So how about we do the official swearing in? I think we're ready for that, right? So Dan and Monica and Leo and Henry, come forward. Monica's gonna hold that. Right. Oh, that's yours. Okay. Ready, guys? Okay, ready for this? Okay, raise your right hand, and you'll repeat after me. I, and state your name,
I, Dan Aymar Blair,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York
and the Constitution of the State of New York
and the Charter of Dutchess County,
and the Charter of Dutchess County,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of the Dutchess County Comptroller
of the Dutchess County Comptroller
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's get another round of applause for State Comptroller Tom DiNapoli. I've said it before, but Tom is a commensurate politician. He's a great public servant, and if I can be half as good a comptroller for Dutchess County as he's been for New York State, I'll consider myself to have been a success. We're lucky to have you in New York State, Tom. Thank you. I'd also like to thank Senator Hinchey, Mayor Flowers, Supervisor Edwards, Deputy Comptroller Robin Lois. Thank you, Chief County Executive Sue Serino, District Attorney Anthony Parisi, County Clerk Brad Kendall, and Sheriff Kirk Imperati for being here today. I'm looking forward to working with you all. I'd also like to thank my family, my wife Monica, and my sons Leo and Henry for giving up so much family time. I really wouldn't be here without their love and support and the support of all of our friends who held down the home front while I was campaigning. And then, of course, I just want to extend all my gratitude to all of you here in this room who got me here. And I am just so humbled and encouraged by your support. And I promise I will do my best for you. I raised my hand to run for Dutchess County Comptroller because I am motivated by a belief that government can and must help us out. I believe that government can make our lives and endeavors easier, safer, and thriving. And this year, I've spoken to a lot of folks. I've gone to parades and farmers markets, American Legions, pancake breakfasts, front porches, all over the place. And I think you know what I heard. I'll tell you what I heard. People are hurting. People are really struggling. People are struggling in Dutchess County for probably as much as they have in a generation. Everything costs so much. Everything costs so much. Prices have gone up, inflation may be slowing down, but prices aren't going to come back down. And we're talking about housing, healthcare, energy, daycare, night school, groceries. These are big things. These are the things that our families need to survive and thrive. The more I spoke to folks, the more I was campaigning, the more I came to understand this, that when making an honest living can barely get you by in this world, government must rise to the challenge, because who else will? Our neighbors are in crisis. We are in a crisis. Elected officials around the county are duty-bound to do everything we can think of to alleviate the suffering. Having been around every corner of the county, I can tell you that the affordability crisis is most striking when we're talking about the basic human right of shelter, of housing. The cost of a home, not just in Dutchess County, but in Dutchess County, renting or buying, is forcing families to make impossible choices about their futures and making impossible trade-offs about how they're going to spend their money, and that ain't right. Housing costs are getting further out of reach. In 1 year, the average cost of housing increased by 12%, and that same year, wages on average went up by 5%. Dutchess must take advantage of every tool in the toolbox to create and preserve housing that won't cripple the futures of families and children. Challenges that face the county extend beyond the affordability crisis. Our warming climate is not only bringing more floods and freak storms to Dutchess County, it will bring debt. Local governments across the United States are borrowing their way out of storm wreckage, and they are worried about the next storm and what that will do to their municipality and its financial integrity. Recent studies are showing that without further mitigation, climate-driven damages in the United States will exceed $2.9 trillion a year. Dutchess County is not immune to the financial impact of climate change, and nor can we afford it. And we will take a long-term outlook for the county's financial integrity, accounting for the possibility that the world may miss our emissions standards, our emissions targets, excuse me. Public safety has also been on the top of minds for voters, for folks that I've been speaking to this year, especially those who live where you wait 20 minutes for an ambulance. It's not unique to Dutchess County. It's not a Dutchess County problem. This is a larger problem. 80% of New York counties have emergency management system deserts. Modern life just doesn't accommodate volunteerism the way it used to. It's a real shame. It's hard to be available as a volunteer EMS or a volunteer fire person. But the thing is that folks calling 911 deserve an immediate response. So I think it's time to put pencil to paper, and I think we need a big picture response for a big picture problem. People deserve to have emergency management services all around the county and equal. From the standpoint as comptroller, the prescription I see is good governance. And for me, that means efficiency, which is the key to getting more public service out of every public dollar. Helping government work better is precisely what the Comptroller Office does. Look at financial processes and recommend improvements, digging through data and investigating trends that impact county government and people we serve. And I would like to dispel one misconception about audits. Audits aren't scary. They're certainly not political challenges. Audits are objective analysis of financial operations with one aim, and that is to help government run better. Some department heads even ask for audits. So the people of Dutchess County, they want careful analysis and they want oversight, and I will do everything I can to give it to them. I promise you. And people want to know what's going on, where their sales taxes and property taxes are going. With everything going on in the world, in our lives, who really has time to go through a budget or an audit in their spare time? And even if you did, who can read it? So I intend to continue Robin's work in making sure that important information about the county's finances are available to the public, easy to read and understand. And let me just say this isn't one person's work. I've had the opportunity to spend some time with the folks in the office of the Comptroller this week. Really love them, and we are ready to roll. We've already been getting down to work. Thank you. They are an impressive team of experienced and committed public servants, and we're going to do great things together. And I think I owe you a lot of that, Robin, that gratitude. So thank you very much. And I just want to finish with, at this time of uncertainty, at this time when people are losing faith in institutions and government, Dutchess County has an opportunity here. Dutchess County has an opportunity to show that good people coming together and working hard to solve our shared problems is what government is all about. I really look forward to working with County Executive Sue Serino. I look forward to working with you, Sue, and all the others, and we'll do just that. We're going to create good government. And I just want to say, in closing, thank you for your confidence in me. It's so humbling. I'm on your side, and I'm going to work my tail off for you. I promise. Thank you. Actually, the way I'm really finishing is, we've got 30 boxes of pizza back there. Go have some pizza.